Eskom is struggling under a massive debt of over 400 billion rand, and it wants you to pay some, if not all of it. It's applied for a 15% tariff increase annually over the next 3 years. Public hearings on the proposed price hikes have begun. The organisation Undoing Tax Abuse is among those objecting. Joining us now live in studio is Outa's Ronald Chauke to talk more about their position. Good morning to you, Ronald. So why are you so against Eskom getting what they say would be a much-needed cash injection?
Morning. Thank you very much for having us here. Yes, it's true. We are objecting to the 15% over the 3-year period each year where Eskom is applying for the 15% price increase. We are arguing it based on the understanding that affordability levels already are out of control. And then when you look at the Eskom situation, Eskom on its own is unable to demonstrate that based on the corruption and all the maladministration that has been reported, that there's a lot of wastage in Eskom, it is cleaning its house. Because now they're talking about taking action, like for instance, having what we call internal disciplinary hearings, managers resigning and everything. But when we ask them to quantify, how are they cleaning it? How much can be recovered from those guys from corruption? Which contracts have been cancelled? And then how much benefit me and you as electricity users, we can benefit from that? Eskom is still not telling us anything.
So if they answered those questions, would you as Outa then say, okay, Eskom, you've earned a 15% year-on-year increase over 3 years?
No, the 15% is too much. To be honest with you, we rather stick to what we call the consumer price index increase. If ever the regulator can allow what we can call a leverage, it can be a CPI plus 1 or 2%. That's
so about 5%.
Yeah, about 5 to 6%. That could be reasonable enough to say we allow them to cover their operational costs and all things like that.
And as far as cutting expenses, I mean, one of the things that have come up quite a bit at Eskom is the reduction of perhaps its bloated management structure, for instance, greater job cuts. Would you be open to that sort of thing?
Yes, we do support that, because when you look at the current situation at Eskom, their operational costs, I usually call them the runaway costs. They are actually out of control. And then when you look at me and you from time to time, they tell us that they are load shedding. You ask yourself, they are having a lot of people working there who are supposed to be competent, and then they are not performing. And then at the same time, they say that they need more money from me and you, while they are load shedding us. It is unfair. It's not even worth it for us to say that, let us give you more money, while at the same time we are having power interruptions. To us, from a civil society point of view, it's unacceptable.
But the ordinary worker at Eskom would then say to you, Ronald, that they should not be punished via losing their jobs for mistakes committed by a now former management team at the power utility. So how do we balance the need to bring down Eskom's expenses with what we know is a jobs crisis in this country? Because if the people there were to lose their jobs, given the situation economically in this country, the climate, a lot of them would never be able to go back into the job market.
No, that's correct. However, we need to be innovative. Remember, when we say that Eskom employees who are not necessarily supposed to be at Eskom have to be actually retrenched or be given alternatives, it means that when the renewable energy industry is growing, we need to upskill, retrain those employees so that if ever they are not making the cut in remaining as the core Eskom employees, we migrate them to alternative employment with new skills and then being given that opportunity. And then secondly, the other thing which has to happen is that if Eskom doesn't control its cost, its sustainability will be compromised. As you can see now, the lenders are not necessarily actually being favorable to them. It means that their worst situation is likely actually be catastrophic.
Tell me this then, in all of this, are you sympathetic to Pagamani Hadebe and his relatively new team, given that when the wheels started coming off at Eskom, they were not in charge? They arrived to a mess which they are now trying to clean up. Does that make you any softer as Outa to their predicament?
We are sympathetic to them, however, we are more realistic that me and you as electricity users, we have to be protected. So regardless of what Eskom is going through, we say that there are better ways and interventions that can be put in place in order to correct the situation. It can be through transition. And then the other problem which we are having now, if you can look at the energy sector as it stands, is the problem of no clear, holistic, strategic direction that is coming from government of how Eskom in future should look like, and then how the energy sector has to be restructured so that it becomes more efficient and effective. So that me and you in future we have what we call reliable power supply that is affordable and then not, be suffering from load shedding from time to time.
Should the government then go into its coffers and give Eskom as much as it can, a bailout? For me and you, as you know, when government gives Eskom money, it's again me and you. We are taxpayers at the same time. Remember? But that overpaying the 15% tariff increase every year for 3 years, would you rather a bailout?
A bailout on its own, for me, from an Outa point of view, we don't necessarily say that government should bail Eskom out now. We say that as the President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed the task team of 8, now although only 6 remaining, for them to relook at the Eskom business model, we need to look at the full picture of what the industry should look like, what is the future role of Eskom, and then what can it be that we call a sustainable Eskom if ever want to keep Eskom or we open competition. So all those factors must be put into one basket and we provide a holistic, integrated, complete solution rather than a piecemeal. Like now say, give Eskom 20 billion and the Eskom next week tell you that they load shed you. After 3 months they come again, they say, give me a tariff adjustment. After 4 months they tell you that no, a lot of contracts actually are illegal, there is corruption, there's that. So basically, it's an environment which I can call it chaotic. We need to bring order in the industry, and that order must come from political leadership, and then also from state institutions such as the energy regulator, Department of Energy, National Treasury, coming into the play and then playing their role effectively.
Some would say those various departments you've named have already failed in trying to keep departments or entities such as Eskom running, so why would the situation change now?
With the new dawn, I believe that there is hope. However, if ever there are people at critical strategic positions who are sitting there and are failing to provide the necessary constructive, input into taking the country forward and resolving the Eskom problems, those people don't deserve to be there. It means that we have to do what you call skills audit, reevaluate who are those people in those critical strategic positions. And as part of the new dawn, it means that our transformation might lead to us saying that let's relook at our personnel, the performance of people at different positions, and then if ever we need to even restructure the public service and critical posts, so be it.
All right, Ronald Chauke from the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, thank you so much for coming in today.